welcome to another edition of the Insider Mailbag. I'm Jared Johnson. I'm joined by the Mighty Joe Yeager. Mighty Joe, man, it's been a while since we've taped one of these mailbags. Man, coming up on the season, I feel like it was a great time to do it and bring back the mailbag, and a great response on the board, and I'm raring to go. How are you doing, man?
Doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good.
All right, well, let's jump into these questions. The first one comes from Riding Fearless, who wants to know flat out, does Tech make a bowl game this year? I think we're probably split on this.
Yeah, I mean, I've got Tech at 5-7, so that's a no. You know, I mean, to me, making a bowl isn't that big of a deal. I mean, to me, Texas Tech standards should be higher than that. And you know, if Tech were to go 6-6 and make a bowl, it's not like I'd be turning handsprings or anything like that. So, yeah, I think they're going to fall a little bit short. But I think this team is going to show enough progress. It's going to pass the eyeball test, where people are going to say, okay, even if they go 5-7, we've seen enough here that we're going to feel good moving forward.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think realistically, this appears to be a team that's in the 5 to 7 win range. I mean, I really do. I think just depending on how certain things play out. There is luck involved, believe it or not, with these games. And I see it at 6. I do think they go to a bowl game. I do think, now overall, do I think going to a bowl game is a big deal? No. But this program has actually struggled to do so in recent years. So after a remarkable run of consistency where Tech always went to a bowl game, I think it's 3 out of the last 4 years they've failed to go to a bowl game. So that's obviously unacceptable. So I think, you know, the old, not cliche, but the old adage about getting all the practices and all that stuff, I do think that is important as well. Just also on the recruiting trail, you don't have to defend yourself why you didn't even go to a bowl game, that kind of deal. It's all more experience too, game experience. You know, if you get a bowl win, you could definitely use that on the recruiting trail. Look what we did to so-and-so, you know. I mean, there is something to it. And I do think there are enough winnable games on the schedule to get there. I think starting 3-0 in your non-conference would be really important. I think the Arizona game in Tucson is going to be a huge swing game. I think that's pretty much where we differ. I think Tech will win that game, a close game, a shootout, and you feel like Arizona's going to win. Which I mean, I can see that. I think it's a coin toss. I really do. So it's going to be another crazy ride, Joe. It's going to be fun. All right, Quasimodo wants to know over under 3 guys get drafted. Who and what day and what round? And along those lines, if Brooks plays as he has and Washington has a great year, where do you see them going? I'll jump in there, and I'm going to say push. I know people hate that, but I think I can see 3 guys being drafted: Vasher, and then Washington and Brooks. I do think Vasher, this will be 4 years here. I think he's poised for a good season. He has a lot of the measurables, so I can see Vasher being drafted. I don't think any of these guys are going to be drafted early. I think they're all going to be late drafted guys. I think Washington, once they see him in the weight room, if he does get a combine or invite, or at least at the pro day, I think they're really going to like him. He's one that he may be the strongest guy on the team, him or Terrence Steele. And then Jordan Brooks, I think he's poised for a great season. You know what a fan I am at his, and I think he's going to get drafted late.
Yeah, we see eye to eye pretty much there. I mean, I think that Brooks and Washington are definitely going to be drafted, but I can't see either one of them going higher than fifth round.
Yeah, I agree.
So 5th, 6th, or 7th. Vasher is the wild card. To me, he's going to have to show some things this year. I mean, he's got to be a lot more consistent. His effort has got to be better. He's got to stay healthy. He's got to become more physical. Yes. You know, I mean, they love that 6'6" height in the wingspan and being able to high point the ball and make plays down the field. That's going to draw attention. But he's still got a ways to go. I think that he's going to either not quite reach that level and stick around another year, or he may make a little bit of a rash decision and come out early and then not get drafted. So I'm gonna go with 2.
Okay. All right, Radio PD wants to know who will win the Big 12 basketball regular season championship. Well, the Red Raiders, of course, right?
Yeah, that's what I went with, and I'll stick with it. But it's a razor's edge deal. I mean, it's Tech and Kansas are really like this, and what it could come down to is what happens with guys like Corprew and Ntombwe. Yeah. Okay, and if another piece is added to the mix to help if these guys don't show up or not, or if they're not eligible. I think if probably both of those guys turn out not to be eligible this year, and then nobody's added to fill in, and I'd probably have to give the edge to Kansas. But I think if Tech gets one of these guys at least is able to play or gets a fill in who is of high quality, or two, then I think Tech wins.
Well, I know some people asked about Corporal. I'll go ahead and say this at least, that everything I've heard is it doesn't sound like he's coming back. Don't expect him to be back. I don't have any details exactly on the Title IX investigation. I've just been told to not expect him to be back. So that'll be a pleasant surprise if he is, but I would be very surprised. And now in Tomboy, I'm hopeful, but it's the NCAA, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and they tightened up the waiver restrictions just a little bit, and I don't know, again, who can figure out what that's going to mean and what these guys are going to do. It's all over the place, but either way, I wouldn't be surprised on in Tomboy.
Okay, next question comes from Raider Fano, who wants to know if Texas Tech upsets a top 25 team this year. Now, they actually did last year. They beat number 15 Oklahoma State in Stillwater. They crushed them. Now, it's hard to remember that Oklahoma State was ranked that high, but they were at the time. They went on a losing streak then and ended up not really being a top 25 team per se, but they were at the time, and Tech crushed them. Didn't just upset them, but crushed them. So do you think Tech pulls it off this year?
Well, there may not be too many opportunities this year. I mean, Big 12 is kind of down. Obviously Oklahoma's way up there. Texas is generally viewed as certainly a top 25 team, but that could be it.
Yeah.
It's not out of the question. Iowa State, people talk about Iowa State. I think Baylor's going to be better than anticipated. They could crack the top 25, and I don't think Tech's going to beat Baylor at Baylor. So no, I don't think it's going to happen. I think Tech's best win this year is going to be at West Virginia, and they're not going to be a top 25 team probably.
No, you know what? I saw you in our season prediction that you had them beating West Virginia in Morgantown, and I was like, whoa, that would be a huge win, because I don't see that playing out. If it was here in Lubbock, I think they'd have a good shot, but then again, who knows? And like you said, I agree. I don't think they'll upset a top 25 team, because they won't get a lot of opportunities. All right, next one comes from Texas Tech Austin. I think this is a good question. He wants to know, we kind of danced around this in other stories and videos, but he wants to know, in our opinion, how many football wins would equal a home run season? What would equal, about what is expected? And what would be a disaster? Well, I've already said 5 to 7 is what is expected. So under that would be a disaster, right?
Well, I mean, I'm expecting 5 wins, okay? I think 5 to 6 is right down the pipe for me. 7 would be exceeding expectations a little bit. Okay. 4 would be disappointing, but to me, not entirely disastrous. 3, that's bad news. I mean, if that happens, you're in deep trouble. So that's what I would go with there. To me, I mean, a home run season would be 8 wins.
I agree.
I think that would just be knocking it out of the park, and everybody should be thrilled with that.
I agree. My only difference is that, to me, only getting 4 wins would be a bit of a disaster. Now, that how you define disaster and all that, it would be beyond disappointing to me, because it's a veteran roster. So it's one of the most veteran rosters in the Big 12. Now, they haven't had a whole lot of success, but still, I'm always talking about grown men going up against kids. Well, you have some grown men. You have some guys who've developed in a Power 5 program, and the schedule is not tough. There's a lot of new faces in the Big 12. A lot of new coaches that are kind of doing the same transitional thing that Texas Tech is. 4 wins, man, that'd be hard to be positive about. I'm not gonna lie. Howdy, Joe, man, great stuff from you as always. Great questions from y'all. Thank you for watching, and until next time.